and he's finding things a little tougher at high. What is it just a long swing? Or?
It's kind of a loopy swing, Timmy, so it's got a definite hitch in a swing. So, I think that's what's starting to catch up to him a little bit. Those things are hard to change, right? You got to get shorter to the ball, so I think that's what he needs to focus on, and we'll see if he can make those adjustments. So I've downshifted a little bit on him. I was really high with him coming into the season, but he's gotten exposed a little bit in high A.
Okay, cool. Let's move to another catcher. There's a plethora of them here. Shea Langeliers. The batting average may not be there, but the power sure will be, right?
Yeah, and he's a great defensive catcher. So, you've got Tyler Soderstrom also in the Oakland organization. Soderstrom's the better offensive player and the one most likely to move off of catcher because he's not going to be able to compete with Langeliers for defensive chops. So, I think they're both rosterable, but I think that if you're expecting Soderstrom to remain a catcher, I don't think he is. I think Langeliers will, and I think we could see him very soon.
Which means somebody could be on the move in Oakland, right?
That is correct.
Yes. Here's a player that I was a little disappointed. I gotta admit, and that's Ezekiel Duran. And my disappointment is for the fact that I was hoping Texas was going to give him a bit more time. I thought he looked really good when he got called up. Yeah, there's a lot of miss in his swing and miss game, but I liked what I saw from the kid in a small sample size.
Yeah, is he going to get squeezed out when Young finally gets the opportunity?
That's an interesting question because the one skill that Duran has demonstrated so far that Young hasn't is the ability to stay on the field.
Well, Young didn't make my top 100, probably an omission there, but maybe I don't think he did. But you're right, he can't stay healthy, and that's been a big problem.
Well, yeah, at some point in time. Yeah.
Yes, he did. Josh Young did make. I'm sorry, number 46. So there you go.
Yeah, I thought I saw him in there. Yeah, but at some point in time, they're going to give the job to Duran. It's inevitable.
I think they want Young to have that job. So and that might make Duran with Simeon and Seager there the utility guy. So that might be a disappointing outcome from a fantasy standpoint.
Or in the outfield.
Yeah, there's a chance he's athletic enough to move to the outfield. And with that, Timmy, let's take another quick break, get back, and let's continue on.
Sounds good.
Okay, Tim, quick check. This is keeping you honest. Have you watched the Beatles Get Back series yet?
No, I haven't got back to it.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to ask you that weekly, Tim, until I shame you into watching that. And then you're going to literally call me after you watch the first 2 hours, and you're going to thank me for forcing you to watch this.
I'm on it. It's moved ahead of Schitt's Creek.
Oh, Schitt's Creek is so great, Timmy. It's so great. Oh,
I've heard that from so many people.
My gosh!
I got to find the time to get into these. I'm thinking September's a good month.
For which one, Schitt's Creek, or for?
For both. Once the season starts winding down.
Oh, okay. So September 1st is when I come back to you and say, "Have you watched Get Back?"
Yes, and if I haven't by that point in time, feel free to toss as much shame in my direction as you possibly can.
Well, don't let you got a trial subscription, right? So don't let that expire on you before you get a chance to watch it.
Yeah, no, I think I'm going to pay for it for a while. I like a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing on it. So
okay, great. Yeah. Schitt's Creek, Timmy, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
it's for the most interesting characters you'll ever see on television. It's just great. And Maura, who is she was the mother on Home Alone, Catherine O'Hara, and she is remarkable to me. Her accent and the words that she says, it's just, you have to rewind it to say, what did she just say? And it's just fantastic. It's really, really great. So,
okay, moving onwards and upwards. We're we're going to skip all the way up to number 58. I think I'd rather have the car than Austin Martin right about now.
I know, Tim.
Like it's like
it's another regret. Is he too high? But he can hit. There's speed for sure. But is he Nick Madrigal? I mean, at some point we're going to ask that. He's slugging 316. I mean, that's not good.
316? No, that's not good. He's looking up at Nick Madrigal possibly. Yeah, I thought there was going to be more power than that.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking there's no power. I mean, it's not like there's none. I don't know what's going on. I saw him last year. I haven't had a chance to see him this year. I don't know, Tim. I mean, it's a very inside-out swing. It's the classic Derek Jeter, inside-out swing. That's what he's doing. He puts a lot of balls to the opposite field, which you like. But at some point, if the ball's inside middle, you need to turn on it.
Yeah, I was going to say you got to let loose and drive the ball a little bit, eh?
Yeah, fantasy owners are not going to be very interested in. Yeah, they'll like the 15, 20 stolen bases and the high batting average. But again, if you're going to hit 2 or 3 home runs every year, it becomes very, very difficult to roster those guys.
Well, sure it is. At number 56, we've got a pitcher in the Philadelphia organization, Andrew Painter. 69 strikeouts in 38 2/3 from a 19-year-old who's now at high A. Impressive.
Yeah, he really destroyed low A. So I'm excited to see him. I can now. He's in a place that I can actually go watch him. So I'm anxious to get out to Lakewood, out in New Jersey, to go see what he can do. But yeah, it's big time stuff. He is, and the Phillies have always aggressively moved players, many times to their detriment. I mean, sometimes it hasn't worked out, but Painter looks like the real deal. I think he's going to move up this list quickly.
Well, Painter and Abel, that's a pretty fair couple players. The Phillies are grooming for eventual jobs in that rotation, aren't they? You've got Mick Abel at 54.
That is correct. So if I can, just number 60, Evan Carter. I didn't write. I only wrote a couple of. I only wrote one sentence, maybe 8, 9 words. This guy could really turn into somebody.
Solid approach, yeah.
There's definitely speed and power there, and he's having a really good season. So people need to don't sleep on Evan Carter if you're in a more shallow dynasty league, and he's out sitting out there.
Right.
That guy has a chance to be a player. So.
Okay, sounds good. At number 55, you've got Lewis Brinson. Oh, sorry.
Oh man, that's Khalil Watson. That's very funny. So I give you a rim shot on that. I was like, wow, I put Lewis Brinson in here. What year we moved back to?
Timmy, there was there. I couldn't pass it up.
I mean, he was one of the big shortstops that was drafted last season, and some of them are just. I mean, Lawler and Marcelo Mayer are really playing well, and Khalil Watson is not. It's disappointing, Timmy. 92 strikeouts and 232 plate appearances. That's bad. So.
Well, and you've got speed and power. That's why I tossed that name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not good.
No, I don't know what else to say. I mean, some guys with speed and power who have a lot of strikeouts turn into Jazz Chisholm, and many times they turn into Lewis Brinson. So, and trying to sort out which one is who is very, very difficult.
Yeah, no doubt about it. At 53, we got Miguel Vargas. A very bold introductory statement. He played for most other organizations. He'd already be playing in the major leagues.
I don't get it with Vargas. That's a good player. It's almost a top 50 player for me, and it's like where is he? And also then you look at Justin Turner and everybody else. I mean, how does he get a chance to play?
Well, do you see him taking over for Turner as early as next year?
Look, the Dodgers, as we know, Timmy, they have not been bashful about bringing up kids, right? We see it time and time again. I don't know where what's his face would play. Not Lutz. Who's the other utility guy, second baseman, and
Taylor?
Not Taylor.
Lux.
Lux,
Taylor.
yeah, Lux, yeah. Where
Lux,
does he go and play third base?
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts there, and a lot of good moving parts at that.
I think Vargas has a chance to be better than Lux. I know Lux was always considered a very high-end prospect. Let's face it, Timmy. I mean, he's been an okay professional, but a major leaguer, but not. He hasn't done what I think everybody thought he was going to do.
Yeah. Well, maybe he'll end up in Anaheim when Ohtani gets traded.
Ohtani to the Dodgers. Yeah, that would not be fair. So
fair is not part of the equation when you're talking the Dodgers.
I wouldn't be surprised, Timmy. I mean, if I'm the Dodgers and I'm only going to have to pay $3 or $4 million this year for Ohtani, I might do that. Have a chance to win.
They do need some starting pitching. They can't rely solely on Urias and Tony Gonsolin, can they?
Well, fortunately, Dustin May is about ready to start his rehab, and apparently he's back to hitting 100 miles an hour. So
that'll help.
Let's hope that we see him come August.
Yes, at 52, we've got Elly De La Cruz, red shortstop.
Byron Buxton.
You're leaning based on his ranking to an impact type player. Strong praise.
Yeah, I mean it's all set up. I mean it could go either way. I mean he's striking out 32% of the time, and he loves the swing, right? So, I mean if you told me that he never gets out of Double A, I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm leaning towards maybe it's just hoping. I don't have him rostered anywhere, but I am hoping he makes it, right? Because it's Byron Buxton, right? This is who this guy is. I mean crazy speed, plays all out, great raw power. But, can he hit enough? And I don't know that answer.
Well, yeah, and there's some other young players in the Reds organization that have got some skills, so he's going to have to maintain them. Barrero's still sitting there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think De La Cruz has the best chance to move off shortstop. Barrero's a good shortstop, a defensive shortstop, so I would think he'd be the logical guy to stay there. But you could see De La Cruz moving to third base, maybe even the outfield. If he moves to second base, it could be ridiculous to him from a fantasy standpoint.
Yeah, the Reds could actually have a really good team in a couple of years, couldn't they? A really good team.
How many years have we been saying that?
Forever, if not longer, something like that.
Something happens to these players. I mean, Sincel, I know he's been injured a lot, that look really good, and then they just can't quite make that leap to the major leagues. So
yeah, Sinzel's been playing really well lately. I should have mentioned him in my waiver wire last week, but he's definitely getting a shout out this. Nick Senzel is playing well and he's staying healthy, so good for Nick Senzel. Let's take a look at Brady House. We got a run of shortstops here. They're 4 in a row. You mentioned he's fallen behind some of the other elite bats in the draft. The power hasn't quite translated because of a poor approach. I'm assuming because he's still a top 50 player, you believe that can be fixed?
A little bit, still based somewhat on his. First of all, I think he moves to third base. I don't think he's a really big kid. Yeah, I mean it's a big, tall kid with a long swing. So I mean I think he's going to struggle with strikeouts his entire career. But I mean it's look, you still have to go with how much. It's only been a year. You can't knock these guys down too much because did every evaluator miss on Brady House? It's possible, but I'm not thinking they did. So I'm going to give him at least another half season. We'll see where he is in the top 100 to start to make better contact with a better approach. If we start to see some turns here in the second half, then he could maintain where he is. If not, he's going to start to really drop him.
Okay. Yeah. Moving onwards and upwards, we're gonna look at a
still
kid,
extremely bullish on Oswaldo Peraza and Brayan Rocchio. So I saw that. I've seen both. Well, I haven't seen Peraza this year, but I've seen Rocchio at 2 or 3 games. I saw him in Somerset. He didn't play all that well, Timmy, but there's a lot to like with that kid. He's athletic and probably moves to second base, but I love what the Cleveland Guardians. You talk about a team to me that's on the rise. I think it's the Guardians. That Double-A team is stacked, and Bo Naylor's now moved to Triple-A. I think Rocchio is going to move to Triple-A soon. And then you've got George Villara, who's has a chance to be a star. That's a really interesting organization.
Yeah, it is. All they've got to do is keep some of their existing talent, and that's the problem, right?
Well, they're keeping the best one, and that's Jose Ramirez, right? So I think that's good. I mean, Kwan's just a he's just a piece, right? He'll be taking